All right, welcome to episode 39 of the Talking Shit podcast. And I want you guys to know we were true to the ethos of talking shit.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking shit to my man Captain Paul literally 3 seconds before we went live.
And vice versa. I was giving it to him, and he's like, "Stop, beating me up." And I was like, "All right, man, we got a show to
And and
do."
and, then I said Igor Shesterkin.
Oh shit! I don't know, man. Listen, he's a good goalie, but we have more pressing matters. I'm not talking about that.
He's a good goal. Good.
Yeah, he's good. No, he's good. He's gonna win the Vezina. But
wait, you said that. You said that like really low. Can you say that one more time where everybody can hear you?
I think just like the last election, these votings are going to be fraudulent. So, but no.
Steal. You mean all the stolen wins from the poor Rangers defense? Still can't get one past. Still can't get one past us.
Shesterkin's fucking nice. I actually wish we had him, but yeah, he's a fucking stud. So,
is it Cap Day again? So, hey, we got our producer extraordinaire. We've got Clinks of it. All right. Episode 39. Also, this is not a paid advertisement or anything like that, but DJI, if you'd like, you can hook your boy up. What I'm doing right now is I am testing this new lavalier mic system from DJI. You may know that company. DJI makes those drones, the camera drones and all of that stuff. People make movies. Well, this is like their first foray into making microphones. So I got this lavalier mic system so that I can do more driving content. You guys that watch Genius Take the Wheel on the Dr. Evil Genius channel, you know that we're going to be doing some top-down driving. And so I wanted to improve the audio quality. And so you guys can let me know. What you guys think. So Jimmy Dean says, are we only on episode 39? Seems like we've been together for quite a while. Yes, we've also had how many episodes of Filthy Casual? You wouldn't know this, Captain Paul.
Yeah,
but how many?
No, I'm too busy carrying this channel on my back. Yeah, you're right.
I think that we're close to the same amount of episodes, and we've got other videos in between. But yes, this is episode 39 of the Talking Shit podcast, and it is nice to be back with you today. One of the things I got to say is Captain Paul, we talk about carrying the channel in a backpack. Captain Paul has been, putting on a lot of content, that's drawing a lot of attention on these internets. So we're going to probably get into that. If not on episode 39, probably episode 40 or one of our many recorded videos. We also have some new series coming up where we are going to be getting more of the fairer opinions of the ladies. We're going to have Captain Paul's wife, his first mate. Right. We're going to be having more content with Captain Paul, and also me and my first lady, if I can, kind of get the second lady to give her opinions. That would be cool too. But myself and Mrs. Evil, we're going to be doing some content. We're going to be actually recording or going live with a video tonight from the Roadster, from the Beamer today. So yeah, we've got some really good content coming for you guys, and we want to make sure that we're practicing what we preach here. And so we want to make sure that you guys get the opinions of women that deserve more attention out in the world. Not women that are begging for attention, but the women that actually deserve it, like Captain Paul's wife, like my wife and wife 1 and wife 2, right? Thing one, thing two, isn't that from one of those?
Yeah, it's from Dr. Seuss, you know?
Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
I might have to implement that, thing one and thing two. All right. So we have a couple of topics that we want to go through today. First of all, before we get into those things, tell us how you're doing, Captain Paul.
Doing pretty good, man. I've been just kind of grinding since I've been home, making a lot of videos. We, like he said, we have a lot of content on deck, so look forward to that. But I've been pretty good, man. I've been going on walks, working with my hip because I got dinged up on the boat. Essentially, like a steel shackle went into the side of my hip, and yeah, not pleasant. So just kind of walking and trying to loosen up my hips and trying to do that thing.
Pause.
Pause. But I was just gonna say pause when you said thing one, thing two. We live in weird times these days, so y'all gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. But I've been good, man. I've been good. I can't complain.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot behind the scenes, and I gotta say, you guys supporting the channel, it helps so much. I cannot. No.
No, I don't.
Yo, Blind Bat, let him live.
Yeah, bro. Nah,
let him live.
No,
yeah. Oh man, god damn. I just want you guys, please, and we're going to be delivering more prompts. But there are 3 ways that you can support the Talking Shit podcast without coming out of pocket 1 red cent. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. Of course, you guys that are watching now, you are following on Twitch or subscribed on YouTube. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
But definitely comment. Make sure you hit the like button, please. Not necessarily because you love what we do, because, we do create shitty content. But just help us out with the algorithm. We got 1 video with I think 6,400 views.
Yeah, around that.
We got a couple of shorts over 1,000 views. We have, what else we got going? Oh yeah, your Will Smith video that went over 1,000 views. Shout out to one of my best friends on planet Earth, Louis Rossman. I did not know that he shared the link to episode 38. We got over 2,100 views on that podcast. I'm actually quite proud of what we did with that show, really touching on a very sensitive topic. And I think that we were about as balanced as you could ever be. Shout out to Lutch of I Didn't Read Your Book podcast. We could not have had that episode go the way it did without you. Shout out to Anirudh Garg of the Dialectic with Anirudh Garg. He provided most of the opposing opinion, and it was definitely necessary to really flesh out that conversation. Really, really proud of what we did on episode 38.
Absolutely.
And it just lets me know like where we're going with this project. We have a lot to bring to the table, and we're going to bring it to the table via current events that go down because people do stupid things every fucking day. Let's talk about somebody on an airplane that did something really fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Goodness fucking gracious, Captain Paul.
I mean, I will say, I have never in my life thought anyone would try Mike Tyson like that, but
without a gun.
Without a gun. And like, can I just say I'm here for it? Because like, bro, like that form, bro, like you just over that fucking seat, just punching him the shit out of him with some left jabs. I'm like, that's what we need in 2022. A little bit of more ass kicking, a little bit more social distancing by fisticuffs. I'm all for it, man. Absolutely. I loved it. Oh my God. You act belligerent and I'm just trying to enjoy my ride to A to B. Oh God. God bless America. It's such a beautiful.
It's really interesting how people are, I mean, most people are kind of like sympathetic to Mike Tyson's cause, right?
Absolutely.
Like, the first thing that I thought when I heard the story is, what the fuck is Mike Tyson doing on a JetBlue flight? Like, come on, son.
Well,
can we unpack that for a second?
Yeah, but can we be fair, bro, and just say he's not one of these guys that blows all his money like crazy, and then he just wants to.
You do know that he blew $400 million.
Oh well, listen. I'm talking about right now. That's what I'm saying. He probably had to lose a lot of money, learn because that was actually an interesting interview he had on the Joe Rogan show. Is that essentially he blew through a lot of money, but I think going through all that shit, man, he's realizing maybe I should just kind of chill with all the spending. Don't need all this private jet stuff. But I do agree. At least get first class on a nicer type of flight. I do think that would have probably avoided, that whole fuckboy situation.
Yeah, that was about as dumb as it gets.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he was unlucky because Will would have just slapped him and walked away.
No, to be fair, if he was fighting Will would let him fuck his wife first. And then just kind of, you know what I mean? So I think you'd be rather play Will, unless you're not into
When I think about it, Blind Bet, I can't really agree with you on this one, because if a slap came from Will, it would have come with free 50-year-old pussy. Jimmy D says, "Don't ever fuck with someone who has cauliflower ears." I mean, isn't that standard, par for the course?
Listen, I think of this, man. I think this younger generation don't understand that shit you say online, you can't say in person.
Yeah, isn't Mike Tyson quoted with, people have gotten too comfortable being disrespectful online because they know they won't get punched in the face?
Bro, and that's the beauty of it. He's about what he is what he talks about, man. He absolutely demolished him. It was actually it kind of got so bad watching that video. I got uncomfortable because I felt like it was reverse racism, because he's just absolutely pummeling that fucking white dude, man. And
but the reason why it's not racism is because Mike Tyson didn't haul off on him first. The guy was like a mosquito.
Bro,
a big, massive, drunk mosquito.
Bro, it was the funniest shit I've ever seen, man. Just imagine though if there wasn't chairs or you know what I mean, those airplane fucking seats in between them. Oh my god, he would have been even more demolished. And then it's the guy at the end's my boy didn't even do nothing. I'm like, what, bro? You're pestering this motherfucker who's just trying to go on a flight. People have their breaking points.
Live.
Fuck. I kind of want to have that conversation though now because I have seen a lot of people support Mike Tyson because they feel they'd kind of do something similar in that situation. But I've heard some people have the argument someone of Mike Tyson's standard or height of success shouldn't put himself in that situation in the first place and just be the bigger man.
No, how about not buying a ticket on a JetBlue flight? You're Mike fucking Tyson.
I mean, it would have been better if it was Southwest Airlines, personally. But yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Well, video shows Mike Tyson hitting passenger on plane. 2 unidentified subjects apprehended, then released. Yeah, we can identify one of the subjects because nobody can mistake Mike Tyson. Blind Bat says everybody's making off of Will Smith's money except Will Smith. Yeah, we're probably not going to get into that on this episode of TSP, but there's some interesting murmurs coming out of the Will Smith camp.
Mm-hmm.
This article written by Mike Coppinger. Mike Tyson was involved in a physical altercation on an airplane. They don't even want to tell you what airplane it was because it's embarrassing. On an airplane Wednesday night, with an edited video obtained by TMZ Sports, which if we do show the video here, they're going to try to copyright our shit.
Already did it on my video.
Showing the Hall of Famer striking a passenger seated behind him. A spokesperson for the San Francisco Police Department told ESPN on Thursday that at approximately 10:06 p.m. Now, if the guy would have did it at 10:07 p.m., he might have gotten away with it. Officers were dispatched to a physical altercation on board an in-plane. Doesn't even, I was going to say, that doesn't even make sense. Like, they call the cops, and then the cops, like, go into the air. And they drive their cars into the air to meet the airplane. That's, I'm kind of demented. At San Francisco International Airport, the department declined to identify those involved, saying it doesn't release the names of detained individuals named Mike Tyson. Police did say 2 subjects were apprehended before later being released. One person was treated at the scene for non-life-threatening injuries. I'm pretty sure that is Mike Tyson. He probably had some non-life-threatening injuries to his hands, because anytime you get punched by Mike Tyson, it is a life-threatening situation.
Bro, the crazy thing is, at that age, man, he's still got those hands. He's got that old man strength now too. You don't want to fuck with Mike Tyson.
He's got that Mike Tyson strength. It's just different,
dude.
I don't know if you've ever been on a basketball court with some guy who's like 51 years old, and then you think that you're just gonna wear him down, and he does some fucking globetrotter shit and just make you want to quit playing. I don't know if you've ever been. I don't know if that you get that equivalent of the 40-something-year-old guy on the ice.
Yeah. No, it's actually funny you say this. Just quick side note: there was a Bruins hockey player. There's Brian Leach. He did like a charity thing, and he actually like
Brian Leach is my guy, New York Rangers legend.
So like he did, but he played for the Bruins, so it's the twilight of his career. And he did something with charity, and like people would like play, let like kids play. I think I was like 15 at the time, and I think he was retired. Yeah, he was retired at this point, bro. And then like he was still so fucking good. I'm like, oh my god, this dude can bust a bunch of people's asses. Honestly, he was actually pretty filthy. It puts in perspective though the difference between like an everyday person and a friggin' actual athlete. Especially when someone keeps themselves in shape and works out, just has that natural strength. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, but Brian Leach is one of the best defensemen in the history of the NHL. So,
but Mike Tyson's one of the best fighters of all time.
In some people's mind, the best. I mean, I don't have Mike Tyson at the top because he was one of those guys that if he didn't get you out of there by the 3rd round, he was in a lot of trouble. The problem is that a lot of guys couldn't get out of the 1st round. There were people paying, crazy pay-per-view money just to see, 2 minutes of action. Yeah, you guys can say that how you want it. The video obtained by TMZ Sports, a man seated behind Tyson who repeatedly had been trying to speak with him, is later seen with blood on his forehead, although it wasn't clear what happened immediately beforehand. But of course, there's more video that has come out that shows that he was unleashing the beast. It was basically ground and pound, right? Because he was just kind of raining them down from the top position.
Throwing lefts.
Maybe Mike Tyson has a future in MMA. Traditionalist says, "Welcome aboard, Jet Black and Blue. We'll be serving alcohol and knuckle sandwiches on this flight." Well, a spokesperson for Mike Tyson says, unfortunately, Mr. Tyson had an incident on a flight with an aggressive passenger who began harassing him and threw a water bottle at him while he was in his seat. Now, the asshole that was messing with him claims that he didn't throw the bottle. Do you believe him?
No, because if you watch the video where he's literally all up in Mike Tyson's business and Mike's just trying to do his fucking life, just trying to chill. I mean, if you watch the video, there was actually some kind of borderline, like kind of racial type comments made by the guy filming it and the dude in the video. Right. So I don't know if you watch my video on it, but essentially he's like, can't give these money. And
oh no, he did not come with that.
Yeah. So, and then the white guy in the video says, yeah, they're just peasants. So like,
no, he
yeah,
did not hit him
yeah.
with that Chappelle show shit.
He
They
did.
should have never gave y'all niggas money.
Yeah, that's why I put that. I edited that shit in because it's like, bro.
Now, I'm not a fan of, I'm not a fan of that, but
I mean, but my thing is like, yo,
it's a classic line.
No, it's a classic line, but like, yo, if you're a white dude on a flight with the dude that's like 3 times your size and you're antagonizing him and you say that, right? I'm not saying that's the final straw, but then it's like, and then you have a water ball thrown at you. It's like, all right, bro, fuck you. I'm just gonna show you how real life works, dude.
And
like,
people keep forgetting that he can go 0 to 100 in
real
1.9
quick.
seconds.
Dude, he did interviews for the longest time saying the reason he doesn't work out and box anymore is it brings him to that space, that mental head space. So it's like, you're going to bring some dude that obviously has like demons fighting with anger and you're going to piss him off.
Skills.
Yeah. I mean, you're not just pissing off like some employees, some random airline, right? That you like might not be trained to fight. You're literally fucking with Mike Tyson, who is known to have a little bit of rage, right? This dude bit off Evander Holyfield's ear, right? So you're going to be messing with that dude. To me, like, I was actually hoping Tyson kind of broke that dude's nose, broke his face in, caved it in a bit more. Because, like, that's a life lesson. Like, if you're going to be about that life, be about it. If you're going to start shit, be ready for those repercussions.
Well, I got to say, Jimmy Dean is that dude. Jimmy Dean, me and Jimmy Dean, we're thinking very, very, very similarly. Because, and we're going to go there right quick. Jimmy Dean says, kid probably did it on purpose to get a settlement. I take a beating for $1 million would also look like a bitch for the rest of my life, though. But I don't think anybody gives a fuck. I don't think anybody really gives a fuck when they're spending that $1 million. When they're broke after they spent the $1 million, then that part comes in. But Jimmy Dean, you were right on target with this. Man punched in the head by Mike Tyson hires lawyer for injuries.
Oh my god.
Blind Bat made a really, really good comment. Him getting punched while drunk was probably the best thing for his brain, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I guess. Doesn't feel it.
Because the inebriation creates that anesthetic effect. Because notice that when alcoholics get in a fight, they never really get hurt, and especially in car accidents, they're the only ones that don't die.
So this is the one thing, right? I understand the consequences of Mike Tyson actually doing this, but like this is my dream world. When you annoy somebody that much, you should be able to punch a motherfucker in the face. That's how I feel, right? Like, if you're going to be that fucking annoying, that fucking bothersome, if I turn around, punch you in the fucking mouth because you deserve it, you shouldn't get no money. I understand why people do it. You're probably right. Probably was like, oh, that's fucking Mike Tyson. I can get some money off that. But I hate that part of society. It's like, yo, sometimes we just need to check motherfuckers. Like, oh, you really want to be about this? Like, in my opinion, it'd be beautiful that this dude doesn't get any money from it.
Yeah.
I think like that was the beating that his father should have gave him.
Well, I echo those sentiments, man. When I first heard about this and I looked at the video that we cannot show because fuck TMZ, I just got this really bad feeling that this guy did what he did so that he could get money.
Absolutely.
Like if I get to annoy him, and then he lashes out, as people would expect a man like that to do, then maybe I can get some of the money that he earned. I could get some free money that I don't have to earn. Man punched in the head by Mike Tyson hires lawyers for injuries. Melvin Townsend III.
That sounds like a punchable person, personally.
The man Mike Tyson appeared to punch in the head repeatedly in a video filmed aboard a JetBlue flight Thursday has lawyered up. Our client is a big Mike Tyson fan. Matt Morgan from Morgan and Morgan. I mean, he's not doing much to
wait a minute.
quell the hatred for lawyers. He's not.
I've seen those commercials, Morgan. Okay, keep going. Yeah. Sorry.
When Mike Tyson boarded the plane, he became overly excited. At first, their interaction was cordial. At a certain point, Mr. Tyson clearly became agitated by an overly excited fan and began to strike him in an excessive manner. The situation could have been avoided simply by contacting the flight attendant. How about if he sits his bitch ass down?
Yep, absolutely.
How about that?
Take some accountability for your actions, man.
And you see how the lawyer tries to no, you don't get to harass people anywhere, let alone in a metal toothpaste tube 30,000 leagues above the sea. You don't get to do that.
Listen, let's just call it how it is. If Mike Tyson wanted to ether him, like literally, he would have been completely taken out of the census. Mike Tyson showed restraint, because you're not telling me that Mike Tyson could have done far worse shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, come on, let's be real. You see those fucking big old hands and the fucking big dude strong. Bro, he gave him some jabs, and I was hyped, dude. I'm like, come on, keep it, bro. Like, Mike, come on, right hook, please. Like, it's just, if Mike wanted to take this man off the census, he could have. I think that should be punishment enough, personally.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think that, Mr. Tyson could countersue and in my opinion, have a pretty decent case. Of course, I'm not a lawyer, but you can't just harass people, and then, as Tyson's reps claim, he threw a water bottle on him. You can't do this kind of stuff.
No, bro. Like, this is the problem, though, man. And say it again. It's a lot of these fucking weirdos, especially since the big old virus came around. Been at home, social distancing. These people think like behind a keyboard, they're like super tough, and then they go in person and they do this like clown shit they talk about online, and they get punched in the face for it. I'm like,
yep.
Bro, like, I don't know, me and you growing up, if we did some stuff like that, we got punched in the face. Like, I'd be like, oh, yo, I deserve that.
Where I come from, they don't stop at punching.
I mean, yeah, I know, a little different, but
it's a little different.
Come shit, like, shank like a shish kebab or some shit.
Sometimes you get shanked with a projectile.
Exactly, 9mm, and we ain't talking about the
subsonic or supersonic.
That's right. We ain't talking about Will Smith penetration type shit, but yeah, that's just wild. Like, so what do you think's gonna come of this?
So look at this quote from the look at this quote from the Morgan and Morgan guy.
To state
the obvious, as one of the greatest fighters of all time, Mr. Tyson should have exercised greater restraint before using his hands on an overly excited fan. Fuck you.
Wow, have you?
Because he achieved a lot in his life. He does not have the right to self-defense like everyone else has. Because he used to be the champion of the world, people should have free runs at him.
No.
Fuck you.
It's a joke, bro. Absolutely a fucking joke. You go into someone's personal space and you keep bothering them, like, yo, that's the repercussions. And like, as for him being the greatest fighter, I would actually make the argument in court. If this dude's considered one of the greatest fighters of all time, he showed massive restraint by not snapping that dude's neck.
And if you knew that he was the greatest fighter of all time, harassing him would be a very bad idea.
Absolutely.
Jimmy Dean says Tyson should go the Zimmerman route and die as soon as possible. No, I don't agree with that. Tyson appeared bloodied. Now, this is what I want to focus on. I want to focus on this photo right here.
That's
right? And this is the thing. When I saw this right here, this is what led to me believing that this was a setup. Okay? Traditionalist is such an asshole. I didn't know you had it in you.
But it's facts, bro.
I didn't have it in you. Mike Tyson is like the troll of all trolls. He started selling edible gummies, like weed gummies, in the shape of a tattered earlobe, resembling the tattered ear of Holyfield after he bit it. I mean, the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what is that about? So you look at this guy's face, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he does like this weird pouty thing, right?
Yeah.
It really looked like a setup to me. It looked like he was trying to goad Mike Tyson into doing something. Because, I mean, you're talking about a very capable, destructive human being, more than most people. And you got him cornered in the aisle. I mean, look, you're talking about a fucking airplane in the seats, right? And after he got what he earned,
yep,
he puts on this, sad face, like Elmer Fudd.
Elmer Fudd.
What the fuck?
I just saw that now. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does look like a methed out Elmer Fudd. I ain't gonna lie, bro. And some of the facial expressions in the video. Yeah, that is such a good analogy to use for him.
I mean, why? It just feels like a setup to me, and it really, really irks my nerves.
Well, like, and especially
this is some coward shit on the same level as Will Smith slapping Chris Rock when he knew that Chris Rock could not retort because you're on stage at the Grammy at the Grammys.
I think when it comes down to it is that we got to kind of just look at things from a perspective that, it was edited. The ending was kind of like obviously edited to kind of cut out the in between from what happened when he was getting his face smashed into like him pounding. It's like, my friend didn't do nothing, man. At the end, I'll just say is that for me, this dude pouting definitely seems like he's trying to get money off this.
And he knew what he was doing when he was doing it.
Absolutely. He absolutely knew it was calculated. So, I don't feel bad for this guy. I kind of hope he loses money in this whole situation by getting lawyer fees and getting nothing out of it. But unfortunately, due to the court systems we have now these days, he'll probably just end up settling out of court because Tyson won't want to deal with this shit.
And the thing is, the thing with that too is that one of the things I really hate about this is that it is clear that Mike Tyson was harassed here, but a lot of these articles and a lot of the commentary always goes back to, well, Titan has a history of blah, blah, blah. Can we keep it to the fucking situation here?
Absolutely.
The guy was being harassed on an airplane. I heard some asshole say, well, I think it was one of the Morgan guys talking about, he should have got a flight attendant. A flight attendant can't see that this guy is drunk, and the flight attendant doesn't know that Mike Tyson is on their flight. They can't tell that this guy is drunk and harassing him. You can't see that obviously right there in front of your face. That's not obvious.
Well, you know how it is.
Everything is on Tyson. But what about the guy harassing him?
Well, it's all, dude. You know how it is, man. These lawyers don't give a fuck about truth, and as we're going to be talking about it in a second. But
Also, look at this. Again, it's like these guys, these girls that claim SA or EPAR, right? They claim that they've been violated, right? But they don't go to the police. They go to try to get some money.
Absolutely.
Right? Townsend reportedly declined to press charges at the time. If you were so injured by this, then you should have pressed criminal charges.
Absolutely. If you felt so violated at the time, but you probably knew that you were being a fucking dickhead and you didn't want to go about it. I don't feel bad for this guy, and hopefully he gets nothing from Tyson. I really hope he doesn't get anything.
Townsend is still in shock and has not made a determination of what his next steps will be. He has hired counsel due to his physical injuries. What physical injuries, asshole? They put a Power Rangers Band-Aid on your forehead and sent you on.
Dude, you know what's crazy is because I've been in hockey fights up in Canada, right, where we would beat the shit out of each other. And I look far worse in those fights, both of us, when we'd fight, than that dude did. If Tyson really wanted him, like I said, we've beaten myself. Tyson wanted that dude gone. He could have made him fucking see the next light. You know, I just, sorry, bro. You got a little roughed up. Shit happens. So sad. Too bad.
He hired counsel due to his physical injuries, the overwhelming nature of this event, and the associated media inquiries. How about you just limit it to the media inquiries? Try to get, a four-figure book deal, because nobody gives a fuck about your life, right? Try to make like $3,000, from, I don't know, Penguin Publishing or whatever the fuck, right? See, I disagree, Jimmy Dean. He can't have more brain damage when he didn't have any brains to start with. Because if he had any brains to start with, this would have never happened, because he would have realized that he was harassing the former heavyweight champion of the world. Now, I want to, I normally am very critical of Dana White. I'm normally pretty critical of Dana White. But I have to find this for you guys. This was a very, very funny video that I found. A very funny post from Dana White. Let me see if it's still up. Okay, yeah, I found it. So I'm going to put this up for you guys. I'm going to put this up for you guys real quick. I want you guys to, because I found this to be, this is probably one of the best things I've ever seen Dana White do, ever. This is probably one of the greatest things we've ever seen from Dana White. Okay.
Hey, come on, move it. You want? I like this seat. I like it better. Oh, this is nice. Oh. Hey, come on. I like this seat. I like it better.
Yo, now, was that after?
I don't know if that was after that. Dana White looks a lot younger there. Dana White's got more hands than that other guy. Let's be real about that, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Dana White understood what that situation. Dana White understood what that situation called for, so he came and he helped him out, and yeah, I don't know, this particular story really got on my nerves, man.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a tragic situation in my opinion, because Tyson just trying to go about his day, but it's nice to see a lot more common sense than idiots out there regarding the situation. So I guess that gives me a little bit of hope. But unfortunately, I think this guy's probably going to try to get something off of Tyson, and Tyson will probably settle out of court just because he doesn't want to deal with the shit.
Yeah. And it just looks like he's just going to be a walking target where people think, oh, I don't, I'm underpaid at my job, or, how conservatives want to say people don't want to work. The hardest working Americans of all time is in this generation, but nobody wants to work. But he being one of those guys that don't want to work, or one of these guys that are sorely underpaid, they're going to see Mike Tyson in the street and say, well, if I can provoke him, I'll be able to pay my rent next month. I don't think that's fair to Mike Tyson. And I'm really, really tired of seeing celebrities being targets for no good reason. Another example of a celebrity being a target for no good reason, the curious case of Johnny Depp.
Though this case has been going really viral, a lot of people talking about it, and some pretty damaging shit's coming out, and it's not about Johnny.
I'm very one of the things that I think, when we knew we wanted to create male centric content, I was thinking about this, because one of the things that really stuck out to me is it took him recording Amber Heard in order for people to see that she was the abuser, she was the aggressor. And the words that she used in that recording made me fucking sick. Yep. Oh, I'm only 115 pounds. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. Who's going to believe you? And, I kind of put this story on the back burner, but now that since it's up in, the modern consciousness, there's two things that really stick out to me about this. Number one, after all of this has gone on, where, especially since the recording of that was leaked.
Yep.
Guess who's getting movie roles and guess who's not?
Amber Heard and not Johnny Depp.
Yeah. And it really,
so like,
man, it makes me really angry.
But the thing is right. So for people that don't know about this story, I'll kind of wrap it up as briefly as possible. Amber Heard essentially accused Johnny Depp of DVing her, right? Or DAing, whatever you want to call it. And turns out, long story short, that Heard was the one DVing Johnny, not the other way around. That famous incident where was kind of, when it came out about his thumb being, or one of his fingers being severed off the tip, was kind of portrayed of him being on like some high cocaine or like alcoholic binge. Turns out that she was the one, allegedly, that threw a couple bottles at him, and then eventually, like, it severed the top of his finger. Like, she's the one that did that to him.
Yep.
And it also is coming out with some of, like, even former lovers, and mind you, ex-wives of Johnny Depp, saying that in her 25 years together with Johnny, he was never, ever abusive, right? And all his past relationships, what
do you call it? Receipts.
Yeah, all his past relationships and other girls, even girl like friends, like none of them ever prone to anger, never prone to like violence, right? On the flip side, Amber Heard, her own former ex assistant, she spit in the face of when she tried to have a talk about her salary and how, like, she needed to pay her money, spit her in the face and say, how dare you talk to me like you need that salary, right? Continual stories of Amber Heard being just a disgusting human being. The one thing that's the only saving grace in any of this, if you look for her, is that when they went to a couples therapist, the couples therapist said like, oh, well, there was, DV or DA, right, all around this case, right? Like on both sides, that like with, Heard would apparently showed up with bruises and stuff like that, or showed pictures of bruises to the therapist, but there was no evidence Johnny actually did that, you know. On the flip side, the therapist would hear essentially Heard berate and kind of belittle Johnny, right? And
because that is definitely the hallmark of a woman who's being abused by a man she fears.
absolutely,
She berates him and belittles him.
And
yeah,
the video that was kind of played, or just the audio recording about her like admitting to like, oh, I'm not punching you, I'm hitting you. And then you're just a big baby for that. And then there's also the case of her chasing. If Johnny was such a scary individual, why would she chase him into several different bathrooms and bedrooms? Why? If he was so damn abusive, that makes no sense. If someone's inherently afraid of the other party, wouldn't they split off that, right? Wouldn't they, in that moment of rage, go away from that?
Yeah, they would call their friends, they would call their sister or their mom, help me get out of here. I'm a DV victim. He's doing this to me. But the thing is, she can't bring anybody that says that she came to them and confided in them that any of this happened.
I'll just say this. It is kind of disheartening in a way that, you can see how much trauma that Depp has went through. It even went into his sister went on the stand talking about how abusive his Johnny Depp's own mother was to him, hitting him, verbally
which
abusive.
makes him more prone to accepting that.
Exactly. And he even said like, it was like married to my own mother. So it was a very moving trial. And you can see like this proud man, right? This formerly very proud man, like top of the world type actor. He was on top of the world. And if you just watch his demeanor in the courtroom and just his body language throughout, like he's just very uncomfortable. Like you can kind of deal with him, like talking about these past traumas that's bothering him from the footage. And it just seems like with Heard, anytime emotion tries to put like crying, it just looks fake, right? And I know some people, right? I know some people like, oh, don't know if it's true or not. If it's true tears, you just could be, jumping to conclusions. But with all the evidence that's come out throughout this whole timeline, throughout this whole court case, friends of Johnny Depp, past lovers, friends, all this, and vice versa with Heard, Heard's looked way worse in this whole scenario. And this is a civil case. This is like libel. So I think at the end it's gonna be very difficult, I think, for either one of them to really completely win in this, because at the end of this, like Johnny Depp's reputation, regardless, if he's vindicated, there's going to be some people
going to be destroyed anyway.
There's going to be some people out there that are going to always have that viewpoint of him, and it's absolutely unfair. And I think this kind of goes to the greater issue in society where we had this weird phase, or we still do, about believe all women. And I'm like, no, like you need to come forth with some evidence. I need to see what you're talking about. Like, I'm not saying to take your accusations and like throw them out the window.
But let's examine them.
Let's examine them and let's find out the facts. And it just seems like in today's society, it's like believe all women. And it led to this, right?
Yep.
If we had a society that was based on gathering facts and going by the truth, we would have let this case play out, and we would have seen how disastrous, right, Heard was to Johnny. But now, because we live in a reactionary society, Johnny Depp lost all these roles, lost all his reputation. She essentially ended his career.
Oh, yeah. Lutch says, Depp has always been soft-spoken, but now he talks like the next Will Smith, except he's not that much of a bitch. He's just with a super crazy chick. I think there might be a little bit something to this. I think that, the information that Captain Paul provided here really kind of nailed it down. Him growing up with an abusive mother, it just made him more susceptible to being to seeking out an abusive type woman, because Amber Heard had already had criminal charges filed against her prior to her relationship with Johnny Depp for domestic violence against a female partner of hers.
Yep.
That happened before she got with Johnny Depp.
Yep.
So, the thing is with a lot of guys, who, have been emasculated by their mothers, and I know too much about that, okay, from experience. It makes it much more likely that you're going to get with a woman who will be demeaning to you in your manhood. So, women who fear men, they don't, they're not constantly trying to emasculate them, because they would have a real fear that he would do something to them. And, the thing that got me with the recording is the whole, I'm a 115-pound girl.
Yeah.
They're going to believe me. Nobody's going to believe you. And that is abuser talk.
Absolutely.
That's abuser talk, y'all. So here comes the second problem that I have with the situation. Now, you would think that I would be happy about this, right? Social media flooded with Johnny Depp support amid defamation case against Amber Heard. Now, technically, it's a positive development, but there's something underlying this. Okay, if this is Johnny Damon with the same facts, he's going to get support. If it's Ben Affleck with the same facts, he's going to get support. If it's Denzel Washington with these facts, he's going to get support. Brad Pitt, he's going to get support. But what if he was Captain Paul? Same facts.
No, I wouldn't. That's a problem in society, kind of underlying what I was talking about, is that we live in this weird society where it's believe all women, even if the facts are all stacked up against them.
Except if it's a heartthrob, multimillionaire, super famous actor. Now, if we have an opportunity to finally get some justice for men in general, to kind of open up the understanding that DV is not a gendered issue. In fact, it's a very, very tiny, slight majority of domestic violence that is instigated by women in heterosexual relationships. It's like 50.1% to like 49.9%. It's real close to even. And the highest rates of DV belongs to not just same-sex couples, but female to female same-sex couples. They report a way higher rate of DV than male-on-male relationships and heterosexual relationships, right? But the narrative has always been women can only be victims and men can only be perpetrators.
Yep.
But we didn't see a whole lot of that. Here, especially after the recording.
Well, a lot of it comes down to, you, like you said, person's famous, a heartthrob, people love him, like millions of fans. So it puts it into a different context where you'll have some people like there's a UCLA student that got accused of EPARP, and they got vindicated, proved out the girl admitted that she was lying. He was still kicked out of school. He was still removed from all of his dreams. His social life was destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad Depp is getting the justice and hopefully gets the justice he deserves, even if it's just in the social media realm. But we need to have more open and honest conversations when it comes to DA with women against men. And just because that's not cool, there's this perception that it's only men, which is not true. It's absolutely not true. The statistics, like you say, play out to be far different than that. So what we need to do in today's society is stop being so reactionary, let the facts fucking play out, and go from there. We can't be destroying young men's lives over false accusations. And if you falsely accuse someone of these acts, you should get the prison sentence that they were going to get for committing it. That's just my opinion. But, we need to hold these false accusations to a high standard. Shouldn't be allowed. If you're going to destroy someone's life, well, fuck it. The sentence they were going to get, possibly to go to jail, that's what you get for purposely lying.
Well, can I take it a step further and say that we need to encourage more men and young men to get used to filing police reports? She spits in your face, she slaps you, she scratches you. You take the photo, you walk to the police station. Because I think that a lot of times men, they keep the stereotype going by not reporting these things. A lot of times guys that don't defend themselves, they'll walk away, they'll leave the apartment, they'll do whatever to get away, but they don't go to the police station, they don't call the cops, right? And I think that the first thing that you should do is, I think the thing that you should do is file the police report, take the pictures of your injuries, file the police reports, because if you don't follow the police report, you're opening up the opportunity for her to file something in the opposite way.
Absolutely.
There was I forget who the case was, but there was one. It might have been Amber Heard, who was punching herself in the face to create bruises.
Yep. That's wild. That's fucking wild.
Now, so here's one thing I found was really funny. Posters on Twitter and TikTok have overwhelmingly backed Depp, only because of the audio recording, with hashtags like "Justice for Johnny Depp," racking up nearly 3 billion views on TikTok. Similar hashtags have been tweeted thousands of times. A search for "Justice for Amber Heard" on Twitter displayed tweets calling for justice for Depp. That's kind of funny. I'm not even going to front. That is a little bit funny. Now, when you look at this tweet right here, normally when you see a name like this, normally when you see one of these type of icons, avatars, normally it's going to be some man-hating bullshit, right? Right? You're going to see some man-hating bullshit. But listen to what this person has to say. Cancel culture really is the weirdest thing, coming from somebody who I am sure has participated in the rise of it.
Absolutely.
But, notwithstanding, Will Smith is canceled for hitting Chris Rock at the Oscars, but Amber Heard isn't being canceled for abusing Johnny Depp. What a world. Now, it's probably likely that this is a black woman and she doesn't like the racial implications, right? But she's got a point.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Will Smith deserves to get canceled, but for being a beta cuck. But at least canceled by men. I'll say that, right? He committed a misdemeanor assault on national television, whatever. So Lutz is saying that he was rocking that hashtag for a while. I don't really tweet very often, but I probably would have as well. And yeah, we'll give her the benefit of the doubt, because I think that it takes a big woman to get off her womanism and speak the truth. But it's so overwhelming. It's so overwhelming. The evidence in favor of Johnny Depp's statements that some people just like, you know what? I can't continue on with the bullshit here.
I mean, I'll just say it's kind of a case that being played out has been very interesting. How the momentum is switched in Depp's favor, and it just seems like it's just going to snowball for Heard. Depp has gone on the record. He has no interest ever doing the Pirates of the Caribbean again.
Yeah, I think he doesn't like being treated the way he got treated.
No interest in doing anything with Disney again. I mean, by the way, you shouldn't because they're groomers. But one of those things that, like, hey, it's good that he's going to get some vindication in some way. But let's not lose track of the fact that this dude's life was completely, essentially, upheaved. And his career was ended essentially because of these actions. And Heard should have to feel the emotional and the financial damages for that. Because she'll still be able to act after this.
Yeah, because she will not get canceled, no matter what she
will not. Women do not get canceled. She will still act, right? She'll do this. You'll still have some women on some bullshit supporting it. And to be fair, us as men, we don't always stick along with this shit. We don't keep up with this over time. So this will fade away into the ether. So Heard's Heard's DA, right, and DV will be looked at in a far different light than Depp's. Heard's will be forgotten because, she's just a woman. She couldn't do that much. Where Depp's will always, among ignorant people, always be like, oh, what a violent, evil human man, So let's just not lose sight of that fact that Heard ended this dude's career, and she'll still be able to get tons of acting roles easily.
Well, I'm going to push back on something that Lutz said. This is really not about money. For Johnny Depp, and Johnny Depp actually said this in his opening testimony during the trial. This is not a money issue for him. This is not, for him, it was the humiliation that his children have had to go through, coupled with the fact that his public image has been destroyed to the point where there were people who backed him. There were people who looked at him as a figure, a pillar of their community. And he's like, well, now these people see me as a fraud. And, I think that is, I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's easy to look at it as, well, lost money because Johnny Depp's lost a lot of money. He's lost a lot of money. But I don't know. Depp is suing her for defamation over an essay she wrote for the Washington Post in 2018, in which she said she had become the public figure representing DA. Now, I want you guys to understand something about how evil this person is. This is an evil, evil, evil person, Amber Heard. She thought that she was going to be able to be the person that she is, and then use the abuse that she levels against him as something that she can level against him differently. And that she's the perpetrator of the abuse, but she knows society is always going to look at him as the perpetrator. So while she's abusing him, she gets to use the abuse that she committed as ammunition against him to make her look like the victim, to then, be cast in more movies. Oh, we need to support her because believe all women. But then the audio recording comes out because he's no goddamn fool. He knows what world we're living in. And he just let the bitch talk.
Yep.
He just let her talk. Like, oh, yeah, really? Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, I really don't think that we should take this to court. I really think it's in our best interest to keep this out of the public. I think it's out of it's in our best interest, including you. And he kept saying it over and over again. I really think that, we should work this out between us, because I don't think this is going to go well for you, because he knows he's recording it. And she's like, no, look, I get to bathe in all of the SA and the DV that I've committed against you, because everybody thinks you did what I did to you.
Yep. It's evil.
And he's got the recorder going. He's like, yo, I'm giving you every opportunity. To cut this bullshit. He's not telling her she's being recorded, but he's like, hey, I really do think you need to chill, because this is not going to go the way you think it's going to go. And now the tables have turned, haven't it?
Absolutely. It's karma, and it's beautiful. Absolute karma. And like I said, hopefully she gets what's coming to her, because it's disgusting.
I'm going to partially agree with Lutch on this point here. His concern about how Hollywood views him is not a good thing for him. No, it's not a good thing. But you know what's worse? Walking around, being a DV victim, and having the whole world look at you as a DV perpetrator.
Yep.
Like, it would be one thing if she didn't abuse him, but accused him, and it was false.
Yeah.
But to have her accusing him of what she did to him, and then throwing it in his face like, nobody's gonna believe you. That's really, really nasty business. And I just don't like it. Of course they play the audio recordings. I was hitting you. I was not punching you. Well, your hand was closed and you were hitting me. What the fuck is that?
Absolutely.
Yep. I don't agree with traditionalists here. I will say that if she found out that he was recording, she would have definitely taken a different tone and tried to resume playing the victim role.
Absolutely.
Because she's a master manipulator. That is an evil, evil person. I hope that she remains single for the rest of her natural life. It's really, that's really, really nasty.
So
sorry.
There's one thing I need to talk about. I'm just going to touch about Lutch's comment right here, because I feel like I need to say something here. Okay, so I get it. You're saying he doesn't need Hollywood. He's going to crawl back to people that don't like him. That be like me or you, Evil, being kicked out of our industries, wrongfully accused of something, and then not being allowed to go back to something we love to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
That's the actual discussion we need to have, right? It's not about the money. It's not about the society. Depp probably doesn't like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's about the passion that he has for acting and something he's done his whole life. And I just don't believe in ever backing down. It's not saying like, oh, fuck it, I have a ton of money. It's like there's just some integrity or some principle in that. Like, at least from my point of view, I'd be like, well, no, fuck you. I'm going to do what I want to do. That's just my kind of opinion on it. That's why it's like, it's just sad in a way that she just ended this dude's career.
And the thing is, she knew she could do it. There are so many women out there that understand the game, and the thing is, and I gotta give you some really, really tough love here. Women are smarter than men. They're a lot smarter than we are. On a balance of probabilities, most women are smarter than most men. And I want you to know that Amber Heard knew what world that we were living in. She knew. She knew that she could have had a completely sexless relationship with Johnny Depp. And if she wanted to claim EPAR, she knew that everyone was going to believe her and nobody was going to believe him. If she claimed DV or SA or DA, she knew, and that's why she was so gleeful on the phone, because she didn't think that she was being recorded, because she expected him to be as dumb as most of us men are. There's a reason why there's a perception that men cheat, but women don't. When women cheat at the same rates that men do. Because they cheat smarter than men do.
Fair.
Women understand what the situations are. They're more socially calibrated than we are. We're more physically calibrated than they are.
Yeah.
But they read the room better than we do. They just do. So it's really important for us to understand that this woman had an advantage. She knew she had a clear advantage. And it's an advantage that needs to be taken away. And the only thing that we need to do as men is simply, of course, we're going to have to record more of the phone calls, right?
Yeah.
But we're also going to have to make these police reports, because the police reports are going to be the things on paper, which is going to turn the tide as far as, some of these organizations that keep pushing the female victim, male perpetrator narrative. We need to get more of actual reality out on paper, because if it's not on paper for the rest of the world, it didn't happen. And in Johnny Depp's case, it took an audio recording of her telling on herself. Look at this, Lily to my rose on Twitter. Amber Heard drinking wine constantly at home while Johnny was trying to stop his drinking use was not a very nice way to support her husband. That's all I'm gonna say. And again, a woman showing that she is able to read the room.
Jimmy Dean.
Yeah, Jimmy Dean. That if you were anybody else, I would have banned you for that comment. On Twitter, some who back Depp have suggested that Heard isn't being held to the same standard as male domestic abusers and criticize her behavior during the couple's marriage. We had somebody up here in the chat that was saying, and that might have been our crack producer, Clinks. She was smirking throughout the trial as well. Okay. Amber Heard got a free pass for her lies and violence for 6 years. This gender bias must end now. Make her accountable for her actions. And, I just think that it's something that we need to do as a society. It's really important that we as a society hold everybody accountable, not just women but men in general. Shout out to Rakita Law for his daily live coverage of the trial. Also to the lead attorney who has also been covering the trial as well. Now, we've been talking about a lot of people hitting people. Okay. And this next story is no different.
No change of pace.
When I saw this, I was like, what the fuck is going on here? I had to watch this video several times.
Can we roll that clip, bro?
In order to figure out what was going on here, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to roll it, okay?
3-1 swung on towards left center field.
Nice dinger.
Going toward the warning track at the wall. It's over the fence.
Announcer needs a little more enthusiasm, though.
Give the Lions the lead.
He's not. He's getting paid minimum wage. You get what you pay for.
North Central has taken the lead here in game 1.
Bro. Yo,
oh my! Oh no!
Bro, dude, what a clean hit, though. Can we rewind, please? I want to see,
out of nowhere.
He was protecting the goal line there, bro. He was not letting him go home. Can you please rewind that right at the impact? You see where he led with his shoulder? Clean hit, no head contact.
Attacking the Sorry, I just seen.
All right, so we're gonna pause right here, right? So I had a really tough time. I had a really, really tough time figuring out what set the pitcher off. But right here, at this point, right here, if you can follow my cursor, right here, you're gonna be able to see that the hitter turned his head toward the pitcher twice between second and third right here. Okay. Toward in the pitcher's direction. Yep.
North Central is taking the lead
and
here.
He
in
slams
game
his
one.
glove down. Boom!
Well, that chest impact, man, that was so clean, bro. Why isn't he playing on the JUCO fucking football team?
I mean,
that
he's
was
definitely
nice
getting
technique.
recruited now.
Oh, that was nice technique, man. Bro, that like I'm all about that, bro. Like maybe it's just because I'm fucked up. I'm more of a hockey fan than anything else. But like if you could allow fighting in baseball, it would be far more interesting. I'm not saying those brawls where they slap each other. Like I mean straight up fisticuffs. Like someone hits a home run off you and you have a beef with it, just start beating his ass behind home plate. Like that's
I
what I
don't think
want.
the home run is what set him off. If you go back,
Yeah,
to,
no, it was the taunting. Like you could tell he was chirping that dude, and he just got
and
under.
the thing is, like I had to like really, I had to watch this clip several times, not because I love the impact so much.
North Central is taking the lead here. In
Look,
game
you
one.
get the third base coach. Oh! Now that would have been
love that.
That would have been a penalty in hockey because it's a blind hit on a defenseless player, right?
Bro, but you got to keep your head. You got to keep your head on a swivel.
Oh!
Got to keep your head on a swivel, bro.
Yeah, because when you hit a home run, you got to watch out for the pitcher coming out like a fucking quarterback.
Bro, like
I mean, look at this. Look at this.
I mean, so like, all right. Has there ever been an incident?
Closer. Look. Oh my God. Look at that.
Bro, that's beautiful.
Look at that. Look at that.
Listen.
Oh my. Oh no.
Yeah, you know what's great though? The
no.
announcer's like, oh my. It's like he's slightly burnt cookies or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like
that's the play-by-play he gives after like he inserts himself into the gash and he goes, oh no, let's hear it.
Oh my, oh no.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a remix of that now. I'm gonna chop up this audio and I'm gonna have some fun with that. Put that shit to a beat. Dude, he sounds like not even human. He sounds like Elon Musk's kids' names. Just super robotic. You know, it's just wild. Like, oh,
yo,
no.
I mean, I want this. I want this for a soundboard.
Taking the lead here in game one. Oh my, oh no.
Bro, dude, that sounds Yo, I hate this so much.
Son!
Bro, like the amount, dude.
Lead here in game one. Oh my, oh no. Oh no.
Dude, it's like, yo,
Quinks, we need this
no, we need this, bro.
We need this for the soundboard, yo.
No, dude. I think this dude it sounds like he just got hit with post-nut clarity.
Phillips
you know what I mean?
there.
Just like straight waking up, yo.
And he'll step on home plate and Cal Stark with some sportsmanship going, but
oh my God.
swung on towards left center.
You know,
field.
it's just one of those things, man, where you know it's just not a good look. From the pitcher standpoint, you know, I get, you know, the taunting or whatever, but I think as the pitcher, you kind of have to keep your cool there. I just think that, like, I get you don't like being taunted and all that other stuff, but I'm kind of on the fence. On one side, I'm about the tradition of the game, right? Don't show up the pitcher. You know, when you hit a home run, don't stare at it. Don't flip the bat. I'm one of those guys, okay? But then on the other side is if you don't want to see the guy flip the bat, if you don't want to see the hitter show you up, as the pitcher, there's something you can do about it. What can you do about that as the pitcher, Captain Paul?
Strike him out, get him out. Just get him out. That's all you got to do. And if you suck, just walk him. That's what I did in high school.
So I wanted to know, what did he do? So I'm going to go back to this clip one more time. And I'm going to stop it right where, you see, he doesn't admire the home run, but when he gets around second base right here, his head is turned toward the pitcher right there.
Yo, Jimmy,
right?
Jimmy Dean, I gotta show
He's yapping.
Yo, Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean says, too many people in this generation were raised to think they could taunt the pitcher and not get punched in the face. Probably Mike Tyson. Okay. But I'm stop. I understand that it's too small for you to see. Like I said, I had to watch it several times, Lutch. But it's at this point right here that he turns his head to the pitcher. He's yapping at the pitcher.
And you don't have it on. Hold on. Let me add it to the stream. That's what I was.
And then when so right about right. My cursor is not showing, unfortunately.
So like right when he gets around second base.
Right here again, his head is turned toward the pitcher again. So when he was here, his head is turned toward the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And when he gets right here, his head is turned toward the pitcher. He's yapping at the pitcher right here. Whatever he said right here in this position, and you're going to see that right after the runner turns his head back towards third base as he's rounding the base, you're going to see the pitcher slam his glove down right at this point. Yeah, see? He was done. Boom! Oh, my God.
Bro, I got to love it, man.
So I'm going to go back to so when he rounds. So right here, let's go back to about right here. No, that was the runner scoring in front of him. When he gets to right here, his head is turned towards the pitcher. Right? So he's yapping at the pitcher, and the pitcher is kind of ignoring him. At this point right now, he's yapping at the pitcher. His head is turned toward the pitcher right here when he should be rounding the bases. That did not set the pitcher off. But when he makes it to about right here, now the pitcher, he's got the pitcher's attention. He's still taunting. He's still taunting the pitcher with his head turned. Then he turns toward the third base coach. Boom! Oh, that, son!
I mean, I think that was a clean hit. Probably maybe 15.
It's not clean. It was on the blind side.
Maybe 15
you
yards
for the numbers.
Maybe 15 yards for taunting, but I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't give a shit. It was legal.
So the guy who was taunting him got a 2-game suspension. The pitcher who tackled got a 4-game suspension that apparently he will not serve because he was kicked off the team.
Damn. I mean, there's really no coming back from that. All jokes aside, like when you go to that level, there's no excuse. Like, dude, you got to rein in your emotions. You just have to.
Yeah, I just think I think that the rules are a little bit too messed up. They said for any player that went onto the field got a 2-game suspension. So not only was both teams forced to record a forfeit loss on their record, but they also made it where all the players who walked onto the field, which was most of the purple team, they all got 2-game suspensions, which means that if they don't have enough players to play, they're forced to forfeit those games too. I don't agree with that at all.
No. I think it should just be the guys that are involved in the incident, and that's it. Right? Like, unless it got a little bit out of hand where the purple team was starting to beat the shit out of someone, I agree. It just that's a little ridiculous.
Now, there's something that I don't quite like about this because, you think about Major League Baseball and the bench clearing brawl is kind of like part of the culture, right? You get the entire bullpen. The entire bullpen comes out you can see them running from the outfield or from the baseline whenever, there's a problem. on the field, right? In hockey, the referees allow the linemen and the referees allow the players to actually fight on the ice.
Yeah.
And then they come back to the game, right?
Yeah, it's the most beautiful part about hockey. Yeah.
Now, baseball is predominantly a white sport.
No.
It's no longer a white sport, but predominantly, culturally, historically, is considered to be more of a white sport created by white people, a white pastime. Same thing with hockey.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you look at the American Professional Football League and how they handle players getting angry, there's a lot of ejections whenever there's a brawl. They get them out of there, right? But even more obvious, basketball. Okay, basketball is over 80% black. Do you remember Allen Iverson?
Yes.
They instituted the dress code on the sidelines because they didn't like his hip hop look, right? But then after the palace, the malice at the palace, right? Even before then, but you notice that if players even look at each other, they're getting kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
Right? And that's one of the things that I just cannot help but notice. In sports where black men dominate, anytime there is any kind of physical altercation, everybody's getting suspended, everybody's getting kicked out of the game. Hell, there was a review of a possible flagrant foul on Draymond Green the other night, where it was last night, where he went up for a running floater, and the defender was all up in him, and he goes to put up a shot, and they're investigating whether they should call a flagrant foul and perhaps get Draymond Green out of the game for trying to put up a running floater.
See, I disagree with this whole take with it being racially with this stuff, but I feel
and why so?
So I'm just going to be honest with you. Look at the size difference, and this is where I think a lot of this comes down to, right? Because they've actually had the conversation in hockey now for a bit to kind of change fighting and getting out of the game. That's why at lower levels they don't really encourage it at all, especially with the CTE stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in basketball, if you look at basketball refs or most basketball refs compared to the actual players itself, there's no fucking way that even a 6'1" referee, regardless of race, is going to contain some fucking dude that's 6'10" going off, right? Whereas in hockey, a lot of those refs are former hockey players around the same size and can kind of control and get in there, which they usually do if they need to control the fight. You had the Malice in the Palace where you had, and I thought personally, you had some asshole throw a beer and he fucked around and found out, like, hey, these I could take that guy, like that Bill Burr guy. I could take you. Come on up here. Well, they went on up there and they beat that ass. But it was like, my thing is there's such a size differential with the NBA versus a lot of these refs. If they got going, you can't stop them. You see them even in college, right? Like when the college, like you had that Michigan situation with that Michigan coach getting a little bit too kind of a little wacky there, kind of getting confrontational. With the other coach was kind of the same way as well, to be fair. And they started pushing.
Didn't Juwan Howard Will Smith them?
I don't know. Maybe I don't.
He's the coach of the Wolverines.
Yeah. So my thing is that there's such a big size difference. Like there's no way that some average height person is going to be able to contain that. Where in hockey, it's like a lot of these guys are similar size. Like the only one they've had difficulties with is Zdeno Chara, and because of Zdeno Chara, when you tallest hockey players in the NHL, they were actually talking, complaining like maybe we should just take fighting out of the game. He was one of the main culprits of that rule being kind of that narrative, I should say, being pushed. I just think it's honestly a size differential thing.
Well, I have a retort to that.
All right.
Have you ever seen Joe West?
Wait, MLB umpire, right?
Yeah. Have you ever seen him?
He's a
Do you
fat
think
dude.
that he could take any of the 60 players, because you have 30 players coming, because you have the benches are clearing, the bullpen's clear, they're all coming together. Do you think Joe West can handle 60 players on the field coming at him to try to break it up? Joe West.
Joe West? No.
All right. Do you think that four umpires can handle 60 players also, and the coaches? You remember when Zimmerman was thrown on the field when the Yankees and the Red Sox had that brawl that one time?
Yes.
Right? Do you think that those four umpires can handle those 60 players?
No,
but we still allow that to happen.
Yeah, but my counter argument to that is the sport.
And nobody gets suspended.
Yeah, but
for going on the field.
But the predominant, no, that's not true, because actually in a lot of those cases,
for not going on the field, if they throw punches, it gets suspended.
But predominantly, right? What's today's baseball game? What's the race?
It's not black. There's only like 9% of the league is black.
Okay, now we're reaching. It's like Dominican, it's minority, like groups that you would kind of say non-white.
No, but it's still considered a white sport, even though Hispanics have taken over the sport.
It's not considered a white sport anymore. It's just not. That's not true. Like, no one considers that a white sport. Golf is a white sport, right? Baseball.
Oh, no. Tiger Woods, man.
I mean, but I'm saying like predominantly.
I mean, he can get in a car accident.
But I'm saying baseball has more minorities in it than ever. Even more, Japanese. Like
I'm talking about white sport in terms, because Lutch is saying, how is it a white sport? Yes, we know Dominicans have taken over the sport. I know that. I've watched baseball. Okay. But what I'm saying is the culture of the game is still very firmly white. Like, the culture is still, you still have the old guard. Again, it's really not that many black people in the sport. There's just really not.
But there's people.
In fact, baseball has the lowest amount of black players that they've had.
Yes, because most black
years.
Athletes don't want to play a dying sport. They're going to make millions.
That's not true. They don't have the money to play the sport.
No.
Baseball is the most expensive sport to play because of all the equipment that's necessary to play it. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Hockey
by
far.
It is.
No. Hockey by far is far more expensive than baseball.
No, I'm talking about for where black people are. I'm talking about where black people are.
Okay, because you got
hockey is not even an option. We don't have rinks. Like in my city, we don't have rinks anywhere in New York City.
Well, actually, to be fair though, that's not true, because there's actually a lot of young, at least like especially in the Northeast and Minnesota and even up in Canada.
Minnesota, yes, that's hockey. That's hockey places.
But that's white people too. There's not white people down south playing hockey like that. There might be the rare exceptions, but
yeah, they don't. I think they're trying to get hockey to be played in the South, which is why you have the Coyotes, you have the Panthers, you have the Lightning, you have all of those teams. They're trying to, kind of get the sport to blossom. But the thing is that you don't really have too many hockey rinks in inner cities. But you do have baseball fields.
You should though. But
we should.
That's a whole.
Because I loved playing hockey when I was a little kid. The little bit of hockey I did get to play.
But
I loved the game.
So,
but we don't really have access. But we're talking about the sports that the kids have access to. Basketball is the cheapest sport to play because the only thing you need is a ball.
Yeah. Well,
half the players don't even need to wear shirts.
Well, see, this is. Well, I mean, yeah, if you're in good shape. Actually, it doesn't even matter even if you're in bad shape. But I will say this, that to your point, right? Yes, traditionally white. You'd say technically basketball is a white man sport too, if you wanted to go back that. But
I mean, it was created by white people, yeah.
Right.
But again,
like what I'm saying,
who runs faster and jumps higher?
But exactly, who hits more home runs and who motherfucking makes more amazing fucking plays? People,
it's really
minorities,
not the black players like that. It's really not.
I mean, Jackie Bradley Jr. is a Gold Glover. You have a very good. I get it, percentage wise. There's not a ton of black people, but there's a lot of people of color, right? Not necessarily quote unquote black, but Dominicans, and they still have fighting in the game because there's unwritten rules, right? The problem, okay, let's just go there. If we're gonna have this conversation, now you got me.
Yeah.
Now you got me into it, right?
Yeah.
So the difference is this, right? To me, in basketball, there's never been that unwritten rules of fighting in basketball, right? There just never has been, right? It's not like in basketball back in the day. You used to
No, they was nasty. It was
but
nasty
defensively
in the
they
60s,
push
70s, 80s,
yeah,
and
yeah.
90s.
Defensively,
the fightings was nasty.
Yeah, but defensively, yes, tough. But it wasn't like it was the culture thing, right?
No, it was. The Pistons, the Celtics, the Lakers.
Yeah, bro. If you look at
Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah. But on the court, not actually throwing them bows. Like most of the fights in the NBA, most of them pussy.
No, I'm actually talking about the fighting. Go look it up, guys. Like they actually are bringing out documentaries about it now.
Bro, like I've watched a lot of these documentaries, especially with the bad boy Pistons. Right? They would get into push and shoving matches, bro. But it wasn't to the same extent. It wasn't like a part of the culture where even in baseball, right? It's kind of no bench curl and ball. Like all they do is kind of like push. And then maybe you'll have that occasional like punches thrown.
You're not even allowed to do that in the NBA. You're not even allowed to look at your opponent. They're calling attack on you.
I mean, but like my thing is it's not culture. Like hockey, that's been in the game since the precipice. Like literally punching a motherfucker in the mouth.
So staring at somebody when you dunk on them, that's never been part of the culture of basketball.
That's absolutely has been a culture, but like
but that's what I'm talking about. You're not even allowed
but
to do that
to me,
anymore.
that's not a race thing. That is because people are so fucking soft these days. Like they're trying to get rid of physicality in all sports, even hockey. They're trying to get rid of football. I mean, they're trying to get rid of fighting. They're trying to get rid of all physicality because we're making a bunch of fucking beta pussies. Let's just call it how it is, where we can't just have physicality, right? That's actually what it is. It's not like I can understand if you want to have a discussion. Has there been racial injustices in sports? Absolutely. I actually have had friends that played up in Canada that were black that literally would have banana peels. Anymore? Well, I know, stupidly phrased, but had banana peels thrown on the ice surface in juniors, right? Is that fucked up? Yes. Yeah. Right. So I absolutely agree that
I'm talking about the league,
play.
Right? But, like, have you ever seen a mandate from the NHL or Major League Baseball about what kind of clothes you can wear?
Yes.
When you are sitting on the sideline.
Yes, actually, you are required to wear a suit in the NHL. If you watch, you actually have to watch. You have to wear a suit. Now, I will, and this is where I will agree with you. That Alvin Iverson shit with the whole hip hop shit, that was definitely fucked up. I'm not even excusing that because I thought that was corny.
They changed all the rules on the whole hip hop thing.
But I want people to keep that same energy, right? This is the same league that apparently is fighting for racial equality where they were doing that shit, right? So like, let's not look at some of these leagues non sequiturs like they're the moral justice. But yeah, like that whole Allen Iverson thing, was absolutely stupid. I thought it was dumb at the time. You know, I love hip hop, love that culture. I think that's kind of a lot of that shit.
And you do have black friends, right?
I hope so. But I hope we're still friends. But one of those things to me is a lot of this shit kind of gets taken out of context, like a lot of the music.
Here's a controversial take.
No, it's not. It's true. It's facts. It's hockey.
Basketball is not a context
Not
sport?
anymore.
Are you kidding me?
Not anymore. No.
Okay.
Not anymore. Back in the day, I'd give you that, man. Where they could play.
But that's what I mean, though. They Draymond Green goes up for a layup, and they're looking to kick him out of the game.
Bro, dude, you know how many people
Lutz doesn't understand what we're talking about. An NBA legend about 20 years ago, dressed in the hip hop clothing of the day, which was big gold chains, oversized white tees, big baggy pants, sneakers, cornrows, big gaudy earrings. And whenever he would be injured, he would just come dressed like he was about to go sling dope on the corner. And he would sit on the sideline with his teammates. And the NBA instituted a dress code to get the hip hop style clothing out of the game. They wanted to kind of a lot of black people at the time. A lot of people at the time, they looked at it as a racial move because the Junko jeans. Oh man, you had the ones with the stripes with the stripe down the side. But now we're not talking about the Junko jeans because those are for the skaters.
Mm.
We're talking about Parasuco jeans. We're talking about Pepe jeans.
Like
we're
Fubu?
talking about South Pole, and we're talking about guys. You're talking about guys that were probably a 28 waist wearing a 38 waist.
They were sagging. They were sagging.
Yeah. Because they were advertising that booty.
No, but like
Lutch is like 125 pounds.
So like
FUBU! Yes, FUBU! Buy us? Fuck you.
To see like honestly though, like basketball went from being no contact at all, right? To have more contact, and now absolutely
to the
none.
80s and 90s.
The 80s, 90s where it was a lot.
Shaq,
and let's be honest,
Lambeer.
And this is my opinion, but I do think like late 90s, early 2000s basketball was still entertaining to watch. But now it's hard to watch it because it's like there's no defense. And there's no like, hard.
You can't even touch them. You can't hand check. You can't do
And that's
nothing.
the thing, bro. Like, I want a motherfucker like James Harden to get punched in the mouth. Like, I want Kyrie Irving to be put flat on the earth like his flat earth theory. Like, that's what I want. I want someone rough and tumble
Amen
defense.
to that, brother.
But like, my thing is this is like, a lot of it just comes down to cutting off the nuts. And this is where I think we come in, right, with the societal issues that like people want to demasculate a lot of things now.
Yeah.
Emasculate, sorry.
Yeah, but contact and fighting, I actually mean fighting. There's clips of players like throwing basketballs. And the famous Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal fight where Charles Barkley throws the basketball right off Shaq's face. And then they get into that fight.
Bro, that's
you had the Lakers versus the Pistons. You had the Pistons versus the Celtics. They got in really huge actual fights. Big brawls underneath the basket. Play is stopped. They're throwing haymakers. They're throwing each other to the ground. They're doing ground and pound. Like that was part of the game in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, that's when basketball.
Like I'm talking about actual fights. I'm talking about actual fights. And the NBA wasn't trying to like suspend a bunch of players for looking at each other too much. For dunking on people. That stuff didn't happen.
But I think ever since the Malice in the Palace, where you had dudes that like went up there.
Ran into the stands, yeah.
Yeah, like they went up there and they were about that life and it was hilarious. I actually still watch those clips because I think it's fucking great.
I thought it was pretty sad.
I thought he went up.
It ruined Steven Jackson's career.
To a degree.
Steven Jackson's career. And Ron Artest. Ron Artest got a lot of technical fouls called on him that he should not have gotten called on him after his Pacer days because of that.
But to be fair though, like when he went up in that stands and punched the wrong guy, that was hilarious. Like I was like, bro, like this is amazing. This is great. I remember watching Sports Center and me and my dad just watching like, yo, holy shit, this happened. I was like, bro, this is crazy. I love it. I even said at the time, like, bro, that there should be more of this. Like, I want basketball players to fucking just getting into it, beating the shit out of each other. Like, I think that's, but maybe I'm fucked up. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of ever since the Malice in the Palace, right, is they're like, oh shit, the league's like, oh, we gotta kind of go in this opposite direction. We can't be condoning this type of actions. And so I think there's an overcorrection where you got all the contact essentially out of the sport, especially. And plus, the game has changed too. That like 3-pointers are now such a massive part of the game. Where you have,
oh my god, man! Don't get me started on that.
You have guys taking terrible shots, like terrible, like Charles Barkley, terrible shots from half court, right? With like 24 seconds on the shot clock, and they're just gonna take them fucking even up because they think they can be all Steph Curry. That we could have like, because I actually like basketball. I like playoff basketball,
but I like basketball. Yeah, I don't like a glorified 3-point contest.
But like that's why I actually kind of enjoy the postseason basketball more than I do regular season. My opinion, I think it's not obviously as physical as it used to be back in the day, but it's a little bit more physical than the regular season. So it just makes it more fun to watch.
The game is a little slower because the stakes are higher. I think that all of us like to watch high stakes sports.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like the World Series. Everybody likes watching the World Series. People that don't like watching regular season games, game 64 of 162, the people that don't like watching those, they're going to watch Game 7 of the World Series because there's a lot of drama. I don't like football because it's basically them just kicking the ball over the center line back and forth, and nobody ever scores, right? But when the World Cup comes, I'm like, oh yeah, I want to watch the Olympic football. I want to watch the World Cup football, right? So I definitely hear you when you talk about the when you're talking about playoff basketball. The game slows down.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell the real players from the not so real.
Yeah.
Who's willing to take those shots? Which is like when you look at Jordan Poole of the Golden State Warriors. He is somebody who is on his way out of the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then he look at what he's doing in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Well, like
Jimmy Dean, the reason why I don't watch college football is because the players are off the team. You really cannot get attached to any of the players on the team. And I'm here in New York City. We don't really have a college football team that we call our team. So I just don't care about college football at all.
I mean,
and I'm talking about American football, by the way.
Yeah, the real football, not that garbage. But no. Like for me, I can't watch soccer because like it actually happens with European hockey players. There's so much diving. I can't take it.
Yeah, there's a culture of fighting in MMA, as Lutch has pointed out.
I mean, yeah. I think, I think personally, I think MMA is so successful because it kind of fills that void where a lot of sports have been kind of going away from, my opinion. But I think we miss some of that physicality. Like back in the Roman times, dude, we had gladiators, and to me, MMA fighters are our current
modern day gladiators. Yeah,
exactly. So it's just kind of miss that. The egg-shaped ball without a helmet version, CP. With a helmet, yeah. Well, because they actually, it's actually entertaining. Not as much diving there, traditionalists. It I just can't get into soccer.
Just diving at the quarterback's knees.
I know, but then he snaps his legs, and that's entertaining. Like that's just far more entertaining to me. But
yeah. So that was a pretty good debate. I'll concede the fact that maybe there really is not a racial element, but my thought process was I've been seeing a lot of the racial pandering and also the racial implications of some of the restrictions that have gone on in the NBA over the last 20 years. And then, when you look at anybody talking about, the big red country in Asia, the NBA is quick to silence you, So I'm always very wary of this whole racial justice, racial equality narrative that the NBA tries to put out there. I don't really buy it. And so, I just kind of look at the different things, and it's like, well, look at these white guys with razor blades on their feet, and they're allowed to fight. But you get a guy that looks at each other too long after a dunk, and they're looking to kick him out the game.
Well,
I just think that's insane. Like, I mean, that's maybe I'm wrong for drawing that parallel a little bit too easily. But I'm willing to take that criticism.
But I'll say this is that, like, on the point of like hockey players, there's been far more. Like one of my favorite players, Anton Carter, growing up. One of my favorite fighters, Donald Brashear, growing up, like black.
Donald Brashear was a beast,
bro. So like, you want to see a motherfucker throw down? That dude was fun to watch. So,
Ty Domi.
Ty Domi, Ty Domi, he went up there too. Like he grabbed the fan from the belly box. He said, "Oh, you want to talk some shit?" He fucking pulled him over and just started beating him up. And I was like, that's wild. He got such a long suspension for that. It was hilarious. I was like, oh my god, bro, you can't do that.
But
I'm for it. What's that?
Don't get me wrong. I love the hockey traditions. You know, like I do. It's just, I just kind of look at some of the disparity, and I'm like, some of us are going to notice it.
Yeah,
And whether or not there's anything to it, just understand that we're just adding it to all the other disparities that we notice, that we're being told, oh, that's not really a racial thing. And it's like, yeah, we're always being told that this thing is not a racial thing.
Fair enough. I would say that, I think a lot of it depends on where you're raised. I'm not going to say that like there isn't racial components into it where like locally, right, where you'll probably face some bigots that might treat people of a color a different way, that kind of essentially de-incentivize a young person from getting into the sport and falling in love into it like I did. I'd kind of have to look more into that. So I'm not going to ignorant and speak on that. But what I will say is, for me as a whole, when it comes down to it, I think a lot of these issues, like a lot of these companies, like the NBA, even like the people that run the Black Lives Matter thing, the foundation, where they've been proven just money launder shit and use it for their own expenses.
Yeah.
If you actually want to see, change, it's got to come by voting, and it's got to come by you kind of going out there and speaking your voice, and not just.
Remember I said about the SA thing and the DA and the DV, right? Guys, you gotta file these police reports. And again, I was talking about the racial disparities. It is not lost on me that the remember we put up the tweet from the black woman.
Yeah.
Why is Will Smith canceled, but Amber Heard isn't? Right? Now, she notices the racial implication there. That's why she made that comparison. A white woman is out there abusing people, but she's still getting roles, right? But Will Smith slapped the guy one time, and in that case, I kind of have to understand where she's coming from, because it's not like Will Smith went up there and was like just throwing 12 to 6 elbows on him, right? And just grounding and pounding him, right? Pause.
You might have liked that.
It's not like that, right?
Yeah.
But he's lost everything.
Yeah.
The male victim is victimized by a white female, and he loses everything.
Yeah.
So I think that, people, I think that there's some to it. iDry says, okay, but if there's 100 things and you say 75 are racist when only 25 are racist, those 25 are still horrible. But if you're not reflecting reality, which is hard to determine, you're not helping anyone. I think that this is one of those times where this is not an Amber Heard situation where somebody is telling an inaccuracy intentionally. I think that there are a lot of times that I see people playing the race card, and it does annoy me. So I definitely do understand your position on that, because I would probably agree with you at least 50% of the time. But I think that the reason why we see a lot of people pointing to race is because we see so many times where we'll see the exact same situation and a white person is treated differently in that situation. And we cannot help but notice the difference. We had that whole scandal with all of those rich white people, the college with the college entrance scandal, where they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to get their kids into colleges that they did not qualify for, and they got suspended 15-day jail sentences. Meanwhile, a woman who is homeless enrolled her kid into a decent school district. A homeless woman with her homeless son enrolls her kid into a school district that her sister lived in. She used her sister's address. She got 5 years in prison for it.
Okay, so yeah, I absolutely agree. That's just dumb, right? If you're just trying to do better for your kid, get your kid out of a better situation, there needs to be more empathy when it comes to the law. The
stats are very clear. For the same crime, same exact crime, black people get much harsher sentences than their white counterparts. And the disparity is very similar to the difference between the sentencing of men and the sentencing of women in general. Men get way harsher penalties on the same exact crime the crimes that women commit. And we've been seeing this for a long time. And it's like, well, you want to tell us that it's not a racial issue, but even the FBI admits to the racial disparity. Even if it is not intentional, the statistical significance of it, you cannot help but point that out and say, well, this exists. Let's talk about it.
Well, I just think, like, to be fair though, there has been cases, and they're more highbrow, but like, what was that chick's name for Full House? Lori Loughlin, I think.
Yeah. She was the one I was talking about.
Yeah. She went to jail.
And her husband got a way harsher sentence, which kind of stabilizes my point, right? They were both involved in it, right? Right? She got a way lighter sentence than he did.
Didn't she go to jail for like
20 minutes?
No, it was like was it 6 months to a year, something like that? Something like that. It was something like that. But yeah, the husband got like 3 or 4, I don't know, 2 to 4 years, something like that. I'd have to look up the case.
Right. But the thing is, here's the thing, Lutch. You cannot adjudicate individual cases because somebody of a certain or a certain gender tends to commit more of this crime than the other one. We're talking about the same exact circumstances. The judges and the juries routinely make excuses for women, but throw the book at men. We're not talking about the frequency. We all understand, the frequency. But when men and women commit the same exact crime, the disparity in the sentencing is like this. And when you're talking about gender equality, hashtag, that don't sound like equality to me.
Yeah.
And, black people getting harsher sentences for the same shit. We're talking about stuff as little as marijuana possession to homicide. Same exact circumstances, same points, because that when it comes to severity, they have an actual structure.
So
the same exact crime. The sentence disparities are like this.
I got to push back a little bit on this because some of the statistics do get skewed because in certain areas, the laws are far stricter, right? So you having a gram, right, in a place where it's not legal to possess anything, you're going to get a far harsher sentence depending on how much you have, right? And then there's going to be certain counties, right, where they don't give a shit, or they're allowed a certain gram or a certain amount of weed or drugs or whatever, and you'll get a lesser charge. So this is something actually me and you, I want us to do, is I want to do kind of more of a heavier breakdown, and it wouldn't be a live because I really want to make it edited and nice and kind of going into the sentencing and kind of try to break down, truly how much of a bias there is, right? I think it would be ignorant to say there's no bias at all. But I'm not going to out there and say just like white dude shoots a dude in the back of the head, black dude does the same thing, and they don't get similar sentences, right? Unless
they usually don't.
But
they usually don't get similar sentences. And even the FBI admits to it.
But I'm saying in the same state, same like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to see, like, I want to do that video with you, right? Because I will be able to check each other. But, so definitely, I think that would be an interesting video to do.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many things coming up for you guys for TSP, and I really do want to thank everybody that supports what we do here. We'll have future collaborations. We have Lutch. He collaborates with us every so often. A little bit less often we get Anna Rude. Less often than that, we'll have Louis Rossman around these parts, and we got a lot of content coming for you guys in the coming days and months. So we're going to wrap up here, episode 39. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. Supporting the platform is free in these 3 ways. And we will see you episode 40.
Peace.